Welcome to Crypto My name's Savage. Today we're going to be looking at ETH. Let's get into the price action and see what's going on. So what we were talking about previously was looking for the fact of actually having this as a bigger triangle here. Now, the way that we've come up here is making me less likely to think that this is actually playing out, partly because of the fact it would mean that we've actually come up in a more corrective structure here, or this could be something else more impulsive, which we'll discuss in a second. But the fact that we've taken this C wave high, I'm looking out for the potential to actually still see this break down to the downside, looking for that potential of this area here, of this one-to-one, to come in towards this zone of this 1612. So it would be a little bit higher now, but effectively what we'd be looking for is this 1632 depending on how high this comes. Now, we're talking about other possibilities here where this could be something else besides a triangle, and the fact that we've actually come up in this way is making me reevaluate that slightly. Now, there is still potential for something like this where we could actually have a triangle that is yet to unfold here. Now, the way that I'd be looking at this then would be potentially that within the structure here, we could still see this as an A, a B, and then we could be getting a more complex C wave here, which would be looking to form in the sense of a W and X, a Y, an X, and a Z to the upside. So now this one-to-one of this W wave would actually put us up here into this 1945. So we're pretty much in that zone already. What I want to see here is if we do actually get a reaction off this, potentially we could actually come back into this channel and see, a reaction from higher up here. Well, alternatively, we've come up high enough that this could be the case that, we look to actually reverse from this point. If this is the case and we do have a bigger triangle like this, what I would be expecting to see is basically to see a three-wave move back to the downside to form an E wave and then to form a D wave and then to form an E wave like this. So basically looking for more corrective structure to just take us sideways here. This would be valid for as long as we stay below this 1964 and above this zone here of this 1806-12 area. So as long as we actually stay above that, we could actually look to still develop sideways, potentially over the weekend, something like a bigger triangle here. So this is something we need to be aware of within the structure. Now, we were also talking about the potential that we could look at this as a B wave slightly different. And what we were looking for was basically to see whether we had a more corrective structure like this, actually from further back here, where this becomes a W wave, we have an X wave here, and then potentially looking for this Y wave to the upside. So once again, what we would be looking for here is a bigger corrective pattern. And the one-to-one of this would actually be here at this 1945 as well. So there's a little bit of confluence within this area, within the different counts. Potentially this could be a zone we look to actually target out. And that would be looking at that same idea here, that we can look at this as potentially a WX and a Y here, or a WX, YX, and a Z to the upside, which could look to take us up into this zone. Now, this would be both bearish scenarios here, and we could then look to, possibly come into this zone here and then look to reject to the downside. However, if we do look to push up higher, what we'd be looking at as a potential rejection area would actually be probably something more like this then, if this is the case, where we could see a move up higher here towards this 1960 to this 2061. So this would be still a rejection area that I'd be looking to keep an eye on if we do look to progress up here. For as long as we stay between these two ranges, I'll still be looking for that potential of a triangle, but we need to be cautious that this is not WXY, and that could be our B wave, and then we could actually see this C wave play out from that point. So this is going to be a key zone to keep an eye on within this. So I still am anticipating a move to the downside here. Primarily what I want to do is see how we react around this 1945. If we do look to push up higher, it could be that rather than looking at this as WXYZ, rather what we have here is something like this as a W, an X, and a Y, in which case our one-to-one would be higher up here towards this 1979 area. So what we'd be anticipating then would be basically to see another three-wave structure like this. And that would be looking at this as WX and then having a Y here. So we're going to have to just give it a bit of space and see how we react. Like I said, below these levels and above this level of this 1806, I'm looking still for potential that we could develop more sideways price action in a triangle. If we break above this, then we would be looking to potentially target out this 2061 area to this 1960 zone. So we'd have to keep an eye on this as this plays out. Now, the thing we also need to just be aware of, like I said before, we do have that potential that if we do have a expanding diagonal further back here, we were talking about this for a while now, where we see this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What we could be doing is actually looking to complete a corrective move into this low, in which case we could actually be starting to form a bigger impulse to the upside, which just fully hasn't developed yet. Now, what we'd want to see if this is the case is we'd be looking for this primarily. We'd be looking for the potential that this is a 1 and a 2 as a flat correction, and then we want to see a bigger third wave to the upside. So if we do start to push above this 2068, we could actually be within a bigger third wave structure. Now, the important thing would be the internal structure that we have over here. Now, what we'd want to see for something like this, given the way the current counter is actually playing out, what we were talking about previously was the possibility that we could have something like this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as an expanding diagonal again, and then this would become potentially a wave 2 into this zone here. Now, what we could do is actually look at this area here, and if I just throw this on here, let's change this. So if we push up higher towards this 2058, what it could be that we have within this structure here is that it just hasn't fully developed and we have a 1, 2, and we'd be looking for, that additional push to the upside here into that 2058. If, however, we just form another 5 wave move here, which doesn't actually take this high, what we could have is that this could actually just be A, B, and C, which would tie into that idea of that triangle still. So it's going to be key to see whether we actually break this high here, which is sitting at this zone of this 1964. If we fail to break through that, potentially we could be looking for a bigger sell-off to the downside in a 5 wave move. But as long as we hold these key support zones, we could actually look to continue to the upside. So this is the one way of looking at it, looking at this potentially as a wave 1, 2, and then looking for this to progress up. At the moment, we just have a 3 wave move up. So we also can't write off the idea that we could get something like this as a flat to come back into these zones if this is going to develop as an impulsive move. But really, we wouldn't want to lose this 1829 area. Otherwise, that would invalidate the potential to break away from the zone. Now, the other way we could be doing this is that we could actually be looking to extend out. We did discuss this yesterday. We had a series of 1s and 2s. It already is less probability because of the fact we have so many in a row, but it is still technically possible. So what I'd want to see here is, continuation to the upside, looking for this zone of this 1977 for this yellow third wave here. If we get into this zone, what we would be looking for is the potential to find support again towards this 1939 area as a fourth and a fifth, looking to target out 2000 to this 1986. So this would be provided we don't get further extensions. The thing is, within this internal count here, if we are developing into a bigger impulse, like I said, we just have a 3 wave move here currently, but I'm just looking for the potential to actually develop up. Now, what we'd need to see happen primarily to actually even start looking at that possibility would be something like this. We need to see this develop as a 1, 2, having this develop as a bigger 5 wave structure, looking to target out this zone of this 1965 for a third wave. That would be our typical third wave area. Then what we'd want to see is an additional fourth and a fifth. So we can see that this would both take us towards this 1-to-1 at this 1979 here, but it would also look to bring us into that potential area where we could be looking for, if I just overlay the bigger move on here, up towards this zone of this 1977 region. So this could actually look to, complete this third wave within here, in which case what we'd have to do is basically continue to look out for the previous fourth wave move. And what we'd be looking for here is basically that this move, it could be potentially extension. So if we have, this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, then what we'd do is this this white count that we have here would then be the third wave into this location, in which case we'd be looking for another 3 wave move down, then another 5 wave move to the upside, and so on and so forth, until we actually complete all the internal legs of this move. So this is what I'll be keeping an eye out here. If we do continue to develop to the upside, invalidate that triangle idea, we need to just be on the lookout that we could see something like this where we're going to start to see a bigger breakout to the upside. And then this could potentially look to actually take us up to that higher area that we're looking for as this 2068. So that's going to be our main area that we're looking for as a third wave. And we're going to have to watch these internals. At the moment, it is just a corrective move to the upside. And we need to just respect that this could actually just, turn around from this point and start to take out these lows. Once we start to take out the key low points that we have here of this 1866, and then further down here would be this 1842, then we start running the risk that this is just actually a corrective structure, and once we take these out, we can't extend out any further from these points. So potentially we could still argue that we have a flat here, and this is a one, and we look for a two, something like this. But once we start to take out these lower areas, it becomes less probable. We're looking at that possibility for this being a diagonal pattern. Basically, we'd have to maintain the zone of this 1829. Breaking below this would effectively invalidate that possibility. So yeah, I mean, that's what we're going to have to keep an eye out for here. We're going to take this one step at a time here. If we do push up higher, basically we need to just be aware that we do still have that fib area that could offer us a rejection up here towards this 2061 to this 1960 area. Now, we do have that bullish potential, but it needs to prove itself. At the moment, we just have corrective moves here. We start to break out through some of these key levels, invalidate that triangle, start to break above this 2061, and start to get some consolidation up here. The likelihood is we're actually going to take the start of this move, in which case we would have to then look at this as a potential completed corrective move into this low, in which case we're starting to move up in a bigger way here again. And the whole idea behind that diagonal is that we could be looking to extend out to the upside. And what we'd be looking for with this, that's the wrong one. Bear with me 1 second. Something like this, where we could potentially look to target this out as A, B, and C, which would be that 2,347, or alternatively, this could be setting us up for that bigger push to the upside that we've been talking about for a while at this 2,720 level. So there's a long way to go here, and it's not going to be moving up in straight lines. So we need to see this react nicely. If this is if this is an additional third wave here, we'd expect to start to see this climb quite strongly if this is the case. And we'd need to get up to this 2,720 area for further, validation that we have this bigger move to the upside. Really, until we actually break this high point here, we need to be careful at this 2,141. Failing to take this could just mean that we still have a leg to the downside here, and we could still be looking to revisit some of these lower support zones that we've been talking about for a while now. This area here between this 1805 and this 1506. So, we've not validated this. We need to just be aware of that fact that even if we do push up and take these highs, there is still potential to come back down here and move down into some of these levels. So we'll keep you up to date as best we can, though. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video. Leave us some feedback down below, and in the description you'll find a link to Discord. Come check it out; it's free to join. As well as that, you'll find affiliate links for both Primex BT and Bybit down there. Both great exchanges we use on a regular basis. Check them out for yourself. If you don't have an account, using the affiliate link does help support the channel, and we do appreciate it. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.